This is Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Follow on Twitter. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Marking Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Brennan likes fisting. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. We're marking out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans.
Welcome to Markin Out, Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. This is episode 722. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, wherever else you're listening to podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating to go with that 5-star frog splash. Make sure that you check us out, ProWrestlingTees.com/MarkinOut. Give us a like on Facebook. Give us a follow on Twitter at MarkinOut. On Instagram at MarkinOut11, on TikTok at MarkinOut11. Follow me, Dave the Rave, on all social media platforms at DavidPTDPT. Chris at Chris Sweendog on Twitter and CMSweeney85 on Instagram. And Brandon across all social media platforms at BTTG161. Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing awesome as always. How about yourself?
Doing great. How was your week?
It was good. Last we checked off, it was pre-Thanksgiving, even though the show was post-Thanksgiving. So I went to my aunt and uncle's for Thanksgiving, which is not something that we've ever done before. So that was nice to do. But I needed my fill of stuffing. So almost as soon as I got home, I started the process of making my own stuffing. And then I finished making it on Friday. And I probably needed maybe a little bit more chicken stock or eggs maybe, but I thought it was really good. And I didn't have my fair share of stuffing last week either, so I made more this week and still, again, really good. So this one was better than last week's.
All right, there you go.
And then I partook in the Thanksgiving sales. Did you partake in that at all?
No, I did not.
Nothing crazy for me, but I did. I ordered the Target version of the Tortured Poets department from Taylor Swift. How could I not? I hate the fact that that's even existing, though. I feel like the deluxe should just be deluxe from the start.
Yeah.
But Target made it seem like they weren't going to have like unlimited copies of that, the vinyl and the book that came out. And I know it was like a huge Black Friday frenzy amongst Taylor Swift fans that went to Target to actually get that. But I had absolutely no problem ordering it the next day online, so I did that. And then I ordered 2 graphic tees from DXL, which are both kind of wrestling related, but like not. I mean, one was the Goonies, so that's like kind of wrestling related in the very, very far distance. And then the other one is Muhammad Ali, so that's more so wrestling related.
Interesting that you relate both of them to wrestling.
I mean, in the very, very far distance for the Goonies, given the music video from Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, it's a stretch.
It's a very big stretch. Muhammad Ali's in the WWE Hall of Fame, so that's not that far of a stretch.
Yeah.
And I also feel like I need to mention that the Disney Movie Insiders closed this week and left a lot of people high and dry. It was a program running for 18 years. It was a way to collect points and redeem them for rewards. And you would get the points from buying DVDs, Blu-rays, CDs, going to see Disney movies in theaters, and other ways as well. And the biggest rewards to me was that you could have redeemed points for a VIP studio tour of the Disney studios in California. And I finally had enough points, literally saving 17 years for points to get the studio tour. And at the end of August this year, they announced that the program was closing. There was no warning for tours. I know some people actually had their tours booked and they had their tours canceled and the points were refunded to them, which I feel like that's awful. But I didn't even get to book a tour. I felt like that was my ticket to California.
And, you had your opportunity, dude.
But not really. I couldn't fathom doing the tour in the time that I earned the points to the time they were like, we're getting rid of the program. And then since they announced that they were closing the program, I literally checked every day to redeem all my points. I had so many points. And I wanted just something that was worth the time, energy, effort of me collecting those points over 18 years. And they finally started adding gift cards, but those were some of the hardest things to get because they'd sell out so quickly, which made no sense because they're all e-gift cards. And some of the e-gift cards were, like, point value were different, but dollar amount were the same. So that was also annoying. And I feel like they should have just always been in stock. And at the end of the day, I feel very cheated by that program. I was lucky enough to get gift cards, but they left a lot of people with nothing. And the only things that you were able to redeem in like the final hours were these digital rewards that are, to me, worthless. I literally had to redeem in 2024. I had to redeem points for a Zoom background. Tell me, is that worth it?
You know, you should have went.
I don't, like, that wasn't time frame wise. I just didn't have that time frame there. And then the other digital rewards are things that you have to spend money on to actually do yourself. It's like crafts and stuff and like coloring pages. And as great as the program was, how they handled the closing, I feel like just wasn't right. So that was very unfortunate.
Word.
How was your week though?
My week was very good. Went to my cousin's in New Jersey for Thanksgiving. Got to eat a lot. Got the cornbread casserole, which I've been craving. Did have stuffing.
I showed a lot of people your Thanksgiving picture.
There you go. Yeah.
No, not there you go. You had egg salad with caviar.
Yeah.
I would never go back to a house if that was on my Thanksgiving table.
Definitely a treat. Definitely delicious. Very good. It's very salty, though, so you can only have a little bit. But it is delicious. And then this weekend, went over to Chris and Rachel. They hosted Friendsgiving. So went over there. We enjoyed the Survivor Series over there as well. And it was a great time. It was very enjoyable. Always grateful for them hosting and inviting us and opening up their home. And it's always nice to be together with everybody. But overall, it was great. Chris is cooking and Rachel's cooking and everybody's cooking from there. It is incredible as always. And yeah, good times all around.
Well, speaking of Survivor Series, it was in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And it kicked off with Team Rhea Ripley picking up the victory over Team Liv Morgan, which I felt like wasn't necessary.
I think that it was good that they kicked off with that, because I think it's very important to kick off with a WarGames and end with a WarGames. I like that.
Oh, I meant it wasn't necessary for Rhea Ripley to win.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think that it wasn't necessary for Rhea to win. I think that the heels could have won this. Nia Jax coming out of this with a lot of heat for her chair shots.
Yeah.
But they were all, when you think about it, and I listened to perspectives of Busted Open and stuff like that, and when you think about it, she really was put in a bad position by those people taking the chair shots, where they weren't giving her a solid place to put the chair.
But I would also put them a step above those Hulk Hogan ones.
Yeah.
I could still see, if I looked at the one that Hulk Hogan did, I would be like, no, that's not going to hurt. If I looked at the one Nia Jax was doing, I could still picture in my head that hurting.
I mean, whether it hurts or not, it looks crappy, but it's also not at the fault of that person.
And a lot of people were trashing this match. I felt that was completely unnecessary. I thought this match was actually good.
I thought that it was slow at the beginning. Starting off with Nia versus Bayley was a little bit slow for me.
That's also the first bit of weapon action that we got was because of Bayley's gear that she took off and started whipping Nia Jax with. Rhea Ripley, by the way, that mask that she had was I thought that was super dope.
Yeah, that was a really cool mask. I like the fact that you had Io go for her spot from the top of the cage, but was interrupted by
Candice?
Someone. But she was interrupted and wasn't able... I think Bayley maybe interrupted her.
Was it not Candice?
Maybe it was Candice? Somebody interrupted her.
Yeah,
but
it was
she ended
Candice.
up doing her trademark garbage can spot, though.
Naomi, the trash can that Io had was really cool. I like when they have custom weapons. Naomi had a custom kendo stick. She also had a toilet seat. That spot was something else, I guess. The backslide and leg drop combo that I think commentary was like, oh, they forgot that there's no pins. But they literally pulled out like a double team move between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. I thought that was a good double team move. Didn't have to be like considered a pin attempt.
I agree. I thought that was a really cool move.
Yeah, and then I mean there was so much that went into this match. You had Tiffany Stratton hit a moonsault. Io hit a moonsault with that the trash can on, while Tiffany Stratton hit a swanton. You had Tiffany Stratton take her Money in the Bank briefcase out of a trash can. She teased cashing in. Raquel Rodriguez questioned her about it. Io ends up using a fire extinguisher on like everybody. And in the cloud of extinguisher, Rhea Ripley was able to cuff Raquel to the top rope. And then there was like a tease between Damage Control not being on the same page. Well, former Damage Control, I should say. Nia Jax got powerbombed through the table by Naomi and Bianca Belair. Rhea Ripley ends up countering a top rope Oblivion and hit the Riptide through a table to pick up the victory for the team. I was satisfied with all of this.
You were satisfied with it all?
Yeah, most of it, absolutely.
There you go. Next up, you had Nakamura pick up the victory over LA Knight to become the new U.S. champion. Did not see this coming. A lot of people were talking about LA Knight's walkout. I think that it was a normal walkout for him.
Well, I mean, so first of all, I want to just mention that Shinsuke Nakamura literally just got a brand new theme on SmackDown and had I thought it sucked. I absolutely thought it sucked because it was just his theme song with like beats attached and people were like, oh, it's making him so sinister. And I'm like, no, it's not. This is not making him sinister at all. This new theme song that he has, this new version of his theme song, this whole entrance, very, very Muda-esque. And it was like I could... At this point of the match where he made his entrance, I didn't even need the match. I was so happy with that brand new entrance. And as far as the match goes, throughout the match, they had spots where commentary would talk about LA Knight being off his game because Shinsuke Nakamura was in his head. During the entrance, LA Knight dropped the United States Championship, to which I have to assume was on purpose because Nakamura was in LA Knight's head.
Yeah, and a lot of people were talking about it, that it was a sign that maybe LA Knight didn't want to lose the championship, and this is that. It's get over yourselves, Marks.
And this just further pushes Karrion Kross if you put everything together.
I mean, look at all the people that he has influenced. Which
we'll talk more about in a moment, but Nakamura ended up cheating. He raked the eyes of LA Knight and then used the middle rope, the middle of the two rings to his advantage before hitting the Kinshasa. So I like when we get the in-between fighting of the two rings.
Yeah, that's enjoyable moments.
After that, we had Braun Breaker pick up the victory over Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus to retain the Intercontinental Championship. The speed of Braun Breaker. Which, by the way, this match was sponsored by Sonic. I thought that was pretty funny. because Sonic is known for his speed as well.
True.
Which I didn't even realize there was a third movie coming out. I don't think I saw.
How did you not realize that?
Well, I definitely didn't see Sonic 1. I definitely didn't see Sonic 2. I didn't think Sonic 3 was a thing.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves. Brother.
As what? Knuckles?
One of the other Sonic characters.
I just know Knuckles.
Shadow, I think, is the name.
Oh, Shadow, I know, yeah.
I think Shadow.
But this match, very chaotic.
Yeah, a lot taking place at times. I mean, you had the one part where you had Sheamus almost going for the banger after banger, chest shots.
The 10 beats of the bottom.
But Braun Breaker interrupted that.
The crowd was going nuts for those, though.
Yeah.
And when Sheamus hit that bro kick on Braun Breaker, I legitimately thought Braun Breaker was going to lose right there.
Yeah, I thought that was it.
Kaiser pulled the referee out of the ring. He beat Sheamus with the shillelagh. And when Sheamus knocked Ludwig Kaiser down and pinned him, I thought that was also going to be Sheamus picking up the win. But he got out of that. Kaiser hit his DDT on Sheamus and then got the like I said before, the speed of Braun Breaker. What was it? A shoulder tackle outside the ring? Or a clothesline or something? Tackle. And then this spear to Ludwig Kaiser. Was it to Kaiser or Sheamus? No, to Sheamus.
Sheamus, I think.
And then I think on Monday Night Raw they said that he broke his ribs from it. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So we have a potential setup on Monday Night Raw between Braun Breaker and Ludwig Kaiser for the Intercontinental Championship.
I think it's definitely not going to... I think it's going to live up to the hype. I think it's going to be really awesome.
We saw Gunther pick up the victory over Damian Priest to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. What you talked about slow in the beginning of the Women's WarGames, I thought this was very slow to start, but also methodical at the same time.
Yeah, I couldn't really get into the match until a little bit later on in the matchup.
You had Gunther work on Damian Priest's shoulder throughout the match. I liked Damian Priest using Hell's Gate. But Damian Priest repeatedly couldn't get the Razor's Edge. And he finally hits one. Gunther kicks out because Damian Priest, due to that hurt shoulder, couldn't hook the leg. And he went for the South of Heaven twice. Couldn't pull that off. Gunther used a Kimura lock with a chokehold. So I thought that was a really cool move. But Damian Priest got out of that. And then Priest pushed Gunther off the top rope, only to also fall to the outside of the ring. And behind the referee's back, Finn Balor showed up, hit a coup de grace off the steps. Gunther took.
And at this part, you didn't know if it was a shoot injury or not.
Because he
with
fell
regards
off?
to his shoulder.
Oh, well, because he was yelling.
Yeah.
Well, after so Balor hits the move. Priest gets back into the ring. Powerbomb sleeper. Boom.
And he took out Finn Balor too, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he took out Finn Balor too, and then proceeded to pick up that victory, which I liked. I liked that he took out the Finn Balor as well. I thought that was good. In the main event, you had the OG Bloodline pick up the victory over the new Bloodline in a War Games matchup. This match I thought was a lot of fun. What do you think?
I feel like the OG Bloodline could have come out together.
I feel like that too, but I feel like it also plays into the storyline of it because they even said a commentary. It's interesting how the new Bloodline comes out all together, but in the OG Bloodline, everybody's coming out on their own. And whether or not that was signs, like tell signs. So I feel like there was a good way to play into the storyline.
I think one of the biggest moments of this match was before the match even officially began, when CM Punk went to go out and Roman Reigns stopped him so Sami Zayn could go in instead.
Yeah, that was a nice moment too because I don't know about you, but I didn't expect that to happen.
No, and then it ends up leaving CM Punk and Roman Reigns in the cage together.
Yeah. And definitely a little bit of animosity between the two of them being in the cage together.
I mean, when the cage door opened and CM Punk went to go out, he bumped Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Or actually, Roman Reigns
Roman Reigns
out first. Yeah, Reigns went
Roman
to go out, and then CM Punk, boom.
Exactly, yeah. Roman Reigns tried to get out there first.
So I like the aspect of you not knowing if these two Paul Heyman guys could work together.
Yeah.
But he got into the match. He grabbed a toolbox, which was used on the Bloodline. Obviously, the last time we saw CM Punk, I think he used the toolbox on Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a long time ago already.
But, I mean, everything that went into this match, I thought was, like, they had the different spots and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They tore the OG Bloodline and CM Punk apart. And then Roman Reigns, they chained the door from the inside. So Roman Reigns couldn't get in. So he climbed his way up to get into the match. Hit a rare diving crossbody onto the Bloodline from the top rope. And then Roman Reigns helped the OG Bloodline to their feet. Punk got up on his own and...
Yeah, he did have a reaction to CM Punk, though, where he looked at him and he, like, shrugged him off. He was like, no, I'm not helping you up.
And he went face-to-face with Roman. And then Paul Heyman came out to get them back on the same page. The 10 of them brawl between the two rings.
Well, before you even continue, I thought that was really good, too, that spot where Paul Heyman came out to kind of stop them from going at it, and he was just like, this is WarGames. And right at that moment where he yelled that this is WarGames, that's when they rang the bell and announced that the match has officially started. So I thought that was a really nice verbal cueing of Heyman in regards to starting the matchup.
Eventually, we saw Jacob Fatu up for the GTS, and Roman Reigns went to spear Solo Sikoa, but he accidentally hit CM Punk. Roman did eventually spear Solo, but he got put down by Bronson Reed. Reed laid him out on a table to hit the tsunami off the top of the steel cage, and at the very last second, CM Punk saved Roman Reigns. Bronson Reed, unfortunately, has an injury from that spot. I don't know if he's going to be out for long. Hopefully not.
Is it legit?
I believe so. I'm not connected backstage, obviously. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, definitely,
if
I
you
saw
look at
news
the
that
spot in slow motion, you could see the way he lands. His ankle looks like he rolls his ankle. So
yeah, I heard, I was reading, he broke his ankles, and then I read that Jay or Jimmy has a broken toe. Well, they said that on the press conference.
Oh yeah, they did say that.
And then
because Jimmy also went to the top of the cage to hit an Uso splash with Jacob Fatu on the table.
I thought that was a little bit too delayed for me.
What do you mean?
He was standing on top of the turnbuckle for a long, long time. Because, I don't know, they were waiting for everybody else to clear each other away or out of the scene to allow him and Fatu to have their moment. And I thought that just took a lot of time to get to that.
Well, after that, the OG Bloodline surrounded Solo, and he ate super kicks. He ate a haluva kick, the GTS, and then a spear to lose. And now Paul Heyman owes CM Punk a favor.
Yeah, we don't know what that favor is. I mean, even after, we still had animosity where everybody hugged Roman Reigns, and then after, CM Punk had his own huddle hug. But we did get a handshake between CM Punk and Roman Reigns to end it.
Yeah.
And now, Paul Heyman owes a favor to CM Punk, which we do not know what that is. A lot of people were complaining that it was anticlimactic of this matchup. There was no The Rock, there was no Seth Rollins, there was nothing at the end of it, even though there was a very prolonged exit that was shown. I thought that it was totally fine. I think for what the match was,
what they gave us was fine.
Yeah, I thought that the ending was totally fine. I think that it didn't need The Rock. I thought that
I did think The Rock was going to be there, but like you said, it didn't need The Rock.
Yeah, I didn't think that he was necessary at all. I didn't expect him. The only thing that I would have done differently was I would have included Seth Rollins in this matchup. Well, not in the matchup, but I would have had him attack Bronson Reed on Reed's entrance to the ring, and then maybe have Adam Pearce and officials stop Seth Rollins and kick him out of the building. So this way we actually had some involvement of Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed together.
But he's supposed to be done with that.
Are they, though?
I mean, right now.
It seems randomly ended.
Well,
I feel like they still have more.
Moving over to Monday Night Raw, it kicked off with CM Punk. And he said that he knows what the future holds. And then pointed to a non-existent WrestleMania sign. And he spoke about the road and how he has a favor that he can use that he can use to get where he wants to go. And then Seth Rollins interrupted and said that he should have knocked CM Punk out the same day that CM Punk returned to WWE. He regrets not doing that. And then he challenged CM Punk to a fight, and Punk was like, I have nothing. You have nothing I want. You're not my future. And then Seth Rollins pushed CM Punk down, and they fought. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn ran down to break it up. And Jey got CM Punk to leave. Seth Rollins ends up putting Jey Uso down and putting Sami Zayn down. And Sami's like, I know you're angry, but don't talk to Jey like that. And Seth said that Jey Uso's family, you're not family. He's trying all his best lines to break up the bloodline, the OG bloodline. And Sami brought up how he asked Seth Rollins to be on the team. And Seth he called Roman Reigns a monster. And Sami shot back with Seth being the reason why Roman Reigns is a monster. Seth hit Roman Reigns with a chair, creating that monster to break up the Shield. I like that they're bringing that back. I don't know if that was necessarily going to be something brought into the storyline or just brought in because the internet was pointing that out.
Mm-hmm.
But Seth Rollins said that Sami did the same thing, and it eventually sets up a match between Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins later on. We also saw a backstage segment where Jey Uso was attacked, and we don't know who attacked Jey Uso. Sami Zayn questioned Adam Pearce about it, and they both assumed that it was Seth Rollins. So we'll put a pin in that.
Next up, you had Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez pick up the victory over Damage Control. Raquel Rodriguez picking up the victory, but I don't know.
I feel like it was short, and I feel like nothing happened in it.
Yeah, I mean, you had the biggest thing that happened was after the match.
Yeah, Raquel got the finish on Kairi Sane and then beat Io down. And then Liv Morgan joined in, and Rhea Ripley made the save. Liv dipped before Rhea Ripley got into the ring, and then Liv joined in, and Raquel sent Rhea Ripley head first into the commentary table.
Yeah, she was selling that orbital socket.
Yeah.
Good sell, good moment, you know. Next up, you had Dakota Kai pick up the victory over Shayna Baszler and Katana Chance to advance in the tournament. I wasn't that big of a fan of the ending.
The match, though, we got to see the strength of Shayna Baszler, but at times this match seemed like it was thrown together last minute.
Yeah. Which maybe it was, but I don't know.
I think the ending, though. Dakota Kai had she was locked in the Kirifuda clutch. She did the flip to get out of the way of Katana Chance's dive onto Shayna Baszler. And then she hit the GTK on Katana Chance to get that victory.
And after being locked in a chokehold, she has so much energy.
I mean, adrenaline, something, Cody Rhodes, I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like as long as Dakota Kai is getting the advancement there, hopefully it comes down to Dakota Kai, and I hope that it comes down to Natalya.
Yeah, that ending after the chokehold into that, but I'm happy that she did win. Next up, you had the New Day's 10th anniversary celebration taking place. Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston making their way to the ring amongst some of their memorabilia, like the Bootio cereal box inflated.
Yeah, I like that all that was set up on the entrance in the ring. But man, oh man, what a doozy. Xavier Woods opens this up and said he wanted to come out there in front of the crowd to make sure that the fans know that it's not their fault. And people are like, wait a minute, they're divorcing us. They're splitting up because of us.
Yeah.
And then Kofi went to talk about New Day going forward, and Big E showed up. And he said that he's been hearing them bicker, and it's troubled him. And he spoke about personal moments in their lives and how New Day means a lot to everyone. And he wanted to remind them of who they are, and said that he's going to be there week after week to serve as their manager.
Yeah, he brings up how they were ready to be fired and everything.
And Big E saying that he was going to be there from now on week after week as their manager. Fans were absolutely in love with that idea. Twitter was going absolutely insane. And then Xavier Woods is like, now? Why now? And then Kofi Kingston, surprisingly, got on the same page as Xavier Woods and said that Big E left them.
Yeah, he brought up how he didn't even have a neck surgery and gave examples of other pro wrestlers such as Stone Cold Steve Austin who did have neck surgeries.
Kurt Angle, Edge.
Yeah, Big E never had a neck surgery, and he just couldn't be there by their sides.
And they questioned you. They were like, you chose your girlfriend. You chose your panelist position over being with us week after week. Why now? Why not then? Why couldn't you be back a long time ago? And Xavier Woods referred to Big E as a burden to them. And he said that every single time they're out in public, they're asked, oh, when's Big E coming back? And he said Big E should just go back to his desk job and they'll call him if they need him.
Yeah, it's as if Big E is their distraction.
And he refused to leave at first, but they pushed him away.
Yeah,
and that got Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods on the same page, all the fans booing them. How could they not boo that?
Yeah, they gave each other the hand grips, the handshakes, and that was solidified. We have the heel turn. I never thought I'd see Kofi Kingston as a true heel, but...
I mean, did I not say that last week?
Here we are. I think we both said it.
I thought it was very, very well done.
Yeah, agreed. Next up, you had Gunther pick up the...
Not to cut you off there, Karrion Kross. He spoke to Xavier Woods. He spoke to Kofi Kingston. He's in everybody's minds that he talks to.
Very true, very true. Next up, you had Gunther pick up the victory over Dominic, stemming from a backstage segment where he pretty much told him that he's earned this shot against him.
Well, Finn Balor was trying to get another title shot for helping Gunther at Survivor Series, and Gunther's like, I didn't ask or need for your help. And said what you just said, Dominic, because of... What did Dominic beat Priest a few weeks ago? Unlike Finn Balor, Dominic was able to get a victory over Damian Priest. He deserves the title shot. And this match, for what it was, I thought was fun.
Yeah.
Dominic low-blowed Gunther behind the referee's back and almost won. Obviously, he wasn't picking up that victory. But in the end, Gunther hit that huge powerbomb and picked up the victory. And then Finn Balor attacked Gunther afterwards. And he told Dominic to watch and learn. And he hit the coup de grace 3 times in a row, I think. And fans were chanting one more time, which was surprising to hear. No. Dominic was also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, being cheered in this match.
I don't recall.
I think so.
Don't recall.
That was. I'm looking forward to whatever they have next with Finn Balor. The internet webs I see all over Twitter saying that he's in for a big 2025.
Yeah, apparently he's been quite the backstage leader.
So
next up, you had R-Truth pick the victory over Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne controlled literally most of this match. And then he got distracted by commentary bringing up the name Butch. And R-Truth rolled him up to get a quick victory. Kind of like what R-Truth did to Miz a few weeks ago. So
yeah, very quick.
After that, the main event saw Seth Rollins pick up the victory over Sami Zayn. I thought this was an okay match. I felt like they needed to do more in the actual match. I get what they were doing and what they were going for, but it wasn't like the greatest. I did like when Seth Rollins tried to explain himself that his beef is with CM Punk, and then Sami Zayn slapped the hell out of Seth Rollins, saying that he knows it was Seth who took Jey Uso out, which Seth Rollins, I don't think he denied that.
He did with the chair.
Oh, right. Sammy grabbed the chair, and that's when Seth Rollins actually did deny that.
Yeah, he was like, have you asked CM Punk if he did it? Like, he was pleading with him.
Sammy threw that chair out of the ring, and Seth rolled him up.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to the match before.
I could see that. True.
But Seth Rollins told Sami Zayn to start using his head, and from behind, Drew McIntyre shows up, hits a Claymore on Sami Zayn, and now we're to believe that it was Drew McIntyre that took out Jey Uso.
Yeah. I thought this part was a nice reveal. He did have a hood up, so nobody really knew, but you knew.
I mean, come on. As soon as he showed up, I'm like, obviously.
Yeah. I did like that that it wasn't spoiled when he was behind him or got into the ring. He was just there with the camera angles. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But moving on to NXT, Ren Sinclair picking up victory over Jada Parker, Cora Jade, and Kalani Jordan to qualify for the Iron Survivor Challenge. I like this matchup because I was a fan of how the ending happened, where that knockout to Ren Sinclair just led her to falling into victory.
Which we have seen recently, I think. But she ended up she was knocked out on top of Cora Jade to get that win. But I like this match because it gave us a lot of double spots. Not double spots. I like moves that triggered other moves. Mm-hmm. Like the rebound discus lariat from Kalani Jordan to Cora
like
Jade,
a domino
that
effect.
Triggered the DDT. Yeah, like a domino effect. But yeah, Lola Vice showed up and clocked Ren Sinclair, meaning to hit Jada Parker. But like I said the other week with Ren Sinclair, every single time we see her in a match, she has a new submission, which she had in this too. So, and I was pulling for Ren Sinclair to win, so I was happy to see that. Afterwards, Lola Vice and Jada Parker brawled to the back. And Jada Parker came back out furious. She made the referees take down the ring ropes for an underground match right then and there. And Ava came out and said it can't happen on NXT. It'll happen at Deadline. And then Lola Vice interrupted to yell at Jada Parker. It led to Jada knocking Lola Vice out with an elbow. Sort of anything you can do, I can also do. So, I like that. You had No Quarter Catch Crew win a number one contender tag team battle royal. You had the D'Angelo family, Josh Briggs and Inamaro were in there together as a team, which I feel like they needed to do more to introduce him. He's from Pro Wrestling Noah. Mm-hmm. Like, he's been in backstage segments with Josh Briggs over the past few weeks, but they didn't do anything to introduce him, really.
Yeah, still unfamiliar with him.
OTM was in this. Gallus, Hank and Tank, no quarter catch crew, like I said. Tyreek Igwe and Tyson DuPont were also in that match. And then when a teammate was eliminated, you were still in it until both teammates were gone. Beyond chaotic. And it came down to Miles Bourne, it came down to Tank, it came down to Lucian Price. And Tank was running things there. Fans were going nuts for Tank. He worked with Miles Bourne for a moment. Miles Bourne ends up taking Tank out, and at the same time, Price fell off the top rope. And that led to no quarter catch crew getting that victory. So, come deadline, we could have a brand new stable be like super in charge.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I couldn't get into, like, I still have to see more of no quarter catch crew before I'm really aware of them.
Well, you had Trick Williams and Ridge Holland have a confrontation mediated by Eric Bischoff.
This one, I don't think that this was necessary. I don't understand why the Eric Bischoff inclusion randomly for this.
I don't think it was necessary either, but I think Eric Bischoff is really great at storytelling when he's on TV.
Yeah, but
like he compared Ridge Holland to wrestlers that he watched growing up. And then he called Trick Williams the evolution of the revolution. And I thought that was a great nickname to put onto Trick Williams because Trick Williams is an incredible athlete. Like Eric Bischoff said. And then Trick said that Ridge did so much to end Chase U just to chase him, and he's not original. It's been done before. He's bland, he's boring. Which I feel like a lot of the internet says about Ridge Holland. And then he said that Ridge wishes that he was what he was. And then Ridge laughed at that.
You know who else is bland and boring? And also a powerhouse like Ridge Holland?
Oh. I thought you were going to say Ridge Holland, but you said powerhouse. Who?
Brock Lesnar.
Oh, well, yeah.
What's the difference? I mean, the guy is jacked. He's a powerhouse. He's agile. I don't think Ridge needs to be that charismatic character. I think him being stoic in nature and being as he is, I think
there's also still people who blame him, like say that he actually broke Big E's neck on purpose. So
true.
They're in the same circles of people.
Yeah.
But he said that he proved what he's about when he ended Chase U. He beat Trick Williams in Philadelphia. And then it broke down into football versus rugby. Trick being a football star, Ridge being a rugby star, and rugby maybe being the tougher sport. And he called Trick soft, so Trick swung on him. It led to a brawl. Trick hit a DDT on the commentary table.
Ridge.
Trick got hit by a DDT, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No give by the table.
Match now in limbo.
Yeah, no give by the table. Rugby, definitely more of the tougher sport, in my opinion. And I think that the one thing that everybody's putting over Ridge Holland with this. I mean, even Eric Bischoff was on Busted Open, continuing to put him over. Same thing with Bully Ray. So, very interesting to see what's going to happen with that. Next up, you had Carmen.
We don't know if Trick is making it to the event.
True. Next, you had Carmen Petrovic pick up the victory over Nikita Lyons.
This we had earlier. Carmen Petrovic got flowers from Ashanti to apologize to her. The actual match, they had a lot of strikes in this match, which I feel like makes sense for the two of them. So I liked that aspect of the match, but Ashanti made his way out during it, and he helped Carmen Petrovic. He got up on the apron, and Nikita Lyons knocks him off the apron, meaning to hit Carmen Petrovic. Ashanti pushed Carmen out of the way, and she was able to win off of that. I was expecting Nikita Lyons to get the victory there by distraction from Ashanti the Adonis. But it was literally him helping her, and then she was pissed off. She's like, "You pushed me." And it's like, brother, he saved you. So I don't know where that's going to go to, but...
Yeah, she's got to watch that tape. over and over and realizes she got saved.
Yeah. Backstage, we had Shawn Spears. He thanked Nico for what he did last week. And Brooks Jensen questioned what they're going to do now that Tony D'Angelo's out. And Shawn said that Nico is almost ready to be unleashed. And then he approached Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley to say that he'll be watching Gigi's match. They laughed it off, called him a freak, I think, which I think is funny. Yeah. And then we go to Gigi Dolan's match where she picks up the victory over Izzy Dame. I think it's been a little over 3 months since we've seen Izzy on TV. So, I mean, regardless of that, you had to know Gigi Dolan was winning this. But
yeah, this was Gigi's return.
Yeah, Shawn Spears came out and watched the match. Izzy Dame, during it, took Tatum Paxley out. It wasn't a one-sided match, which I'm glad about. But like I said, it was very obvious that Gigi Dolan was winning this.
Agreed.
And as far as Shawn Spears goes, I wouldn't mind if Izzy Dame was the next person to join his group.
Mm-hmm. True.
Because she had so much promise, and then literally we haven't seen her in 3 months.
Very
I don't know
true.
if she was out injured or what, but after that, Javon Evans was interviewed, and X-Pac interrupted to put Javon over and said that he believes in him for the Iron Survivor match. This was also something that I don't understand necessarily why it happened. We know that Javon was a huge fan of DX and X-Pac, but again, was this necessary to have? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have been on the actual pay-per-view. I don't know if X-Pac could have made it to the pay-per-view, and that's why they did it on NXT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
After that...
I'm not sure about that one. Yeah.
But it was still cool to see X-Pac. He's shredded, waiting for the Royal Rumble.
Good for him. I'm happy to see him healthy.
Yeah.
You know? Next up, Eddie Thorpe picked the victory over Axiom, Cedric Alexander, and Lexis King to qualify for the Iron Survivor Challenge. But I thought that this was a good match. I don't know if I feel like he was the only option.
In this that wasn't impressive.
Huh?
There wasn't one person in this that wasn't impressive.
Very true.
I feel like I just put over the other week at the Tower of Doom spots and said that like we haven't seen a boring Tower of Doom spot in months. This one was a boring Tower of Doom spot.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there were some fun spots. Axiom rocked Lexis King with the golden ratio, and then Eddie Thorpe pulled Axiom out of the ring, and he pinned Lexis King to get that victory. And then No Quarter Catch Crew came out to stare Fraxium down. I think Fraxium has, or Nathan Fraser at least, has 2 matches that night. Because he's in the Iron Survivor Challenge, and then he's defending those tag titles.
Yeah, he's working double duty.
If I had to guess, I would say he's opening. I would have to assume they're going to open with that, the men's Iron Survivor Challenge.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it wouldn't make sense for him to, if he was to lose the tag titles, then it wouldn't make sense to then have to go in and do that.
I agree. I think that's going to be the opener.
And then the show closed, or right before the show closed, you had Roxanne Perez come out, and she spoke about the Iron Survivor Challenge and how none of them will beat her for the title. Sol Ruca came out, Zarya, Stephanie Vicor, Julia. It led to the 4 of them brawling. Ren Sinclair showed up and popped Roxanne Perez in the face and then took the title. So that hypes up the Iron Survivor Challenge. It maybe gives Ren Sinclair the advantage. I don't really see her winning that match, though.
I don't either, but hopefully they can make us believe that there's a chance.
And then there was commotion backstage, and the feed cut out before anything could happen, before anything was shown for me. And then you go on Twitter, and you see Eddie Thorpe was attacked. Earlier in the night, Robert Stone and Stevie Turner looked like they had seen a ghost. I thought it could be the person that took out Eddie Thorpe. Some people on the internet said perhaps Obafemi. He hasn't been seen since October, since Halloween Havoc. And I thought that was a good guess. And then some people are throwing out Hikuleu as a a potential name.
Yeah, some people are saying that it was The Rock.
Bloodline related. It could be. I'm assuming. See, if it was someone like The Rock, it just wouldn't make sense because we need the answer at deadline.
Yeah, maybe Lance and Haku's son.
We'll see. So that's NXT. Going to do some predictions for NXT deadline taking place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at the Minneapolis Armory.
Bam.
You have the men's Iron Survivor Challenge, determines the number one contender for New Year's Evil. Wesley, Javon Evans, Nathan Fraser, Ethan Page, Eddie Thorpe, potentially not Eddie Thorpe.
I'm going to go with Wesley.
I'm going to say Obafemi.
Okay.
And fingers crossed he's in the match.
If he's not in the match, who do you go with? Javon?
I would say Ethan Page again.
Okay. I'm between Wesley or Javon. I'm going West.
For the NXT Tag Team Championship, Fraxium defending the titles against No Quarter Catch Crew. I'm going to say No Quarter Catch Crew takes this.
I agree. I think something's going to happen with regards to that first match, and No Quarter Catch Crew picks up the victory. NXT Underground match, Lola Vice taking on Jada Parker. This is a tough one to call. I think I'm going to go with Jada Parker.
I'm going to say Lola Vice, but it is very tough.
Yeah, I mean, both of these women are hard hitters, and that promo on NXT was really solid between the both of them.
Yeah.
So, Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Sol Ruca, Stephanie Vicaire, Zarya, Julia, and Ren Sinclair. Now this one is tough too. Number one contendership on the line.
I'm going to say Zarya.
Zarya?
But part of me really wants to say Sol Ruca.
Yeah, I kind of want to say Sol Ruca. I don't want to say Vicaire and Julia right now. I'm going to go with Sol Ruca.
I'm going to say Sol Ruca as well.
It's tough. Did you see her getting into the card on video?
Yes.
With the handstand? Crazy.
For the NXT Championship, Trick Williams defending the title against Ridge Holland. Trick Williams. Unless something crazy happens, I'm going to say Trick Williams. If Trick Williams is in the match even.
When did Trick win it?
When did he win the NXT Championship?
Yeah.
Trick Williams won the championship at the debut episode of the CW back in October.
Yeah, he's held it for 65 plus days so far. That's crazy that so much time has already passed. I'm going to go with Ridge Holland. It seems to me
I wouldn't mind. I'm a big fan of Ridge Holland.
Yeah, it seems to me that they're building him up a lot, and I would be confused if he lost after this entire build-up, and I don't think it's going to do much. I think that Ridge Holland losing does more damage than Trick Williams losing.
But there's also that factor. We didn't see anything on this week's episode of NXT about who called Andre Chase's name out. So there's always a potential possibility that name gets involved in that match.
True.
So.
Yeah.
But that's our predictions for NXT Deadline. Moving over to SmackDown. It opened up with Cody Rhodes, and he spoke about Saturday night's main event. He spoke about Kevin Owens. And then American Made randomly showed up. Chad Gable said that the transfer window is about to open. I guess with Netflix having Monday Night Raw, there's going to be a shakeup on the rosters. And Chad Gable spoke to him about bad friends like Otis and how he left him high and dry when he needed Otis the most, just like Cody did to Kevin Owens. And he called Cody superficial. All he cares about is what the fans think. Cody said he sees a lot of himself in Chad Gable. He had to overcome things like Shorty G, just like he had to overcome Stardust. He did some button pushing, and Chad Gable got pissed off. It turned into a match for later on, which we'll put a pin in. The first match saw Tiffany Stratton pick up the victory over Naomi and Elektra Lopez to advance in the tournament for the United States Championship. Jesse the Body Ventura was ringside for this. I thought that was pretty cool. He was announced as the announcer. He's going to be doing commentary, I should say, for Saturday night's main event. Being from Minnesota, though, Tiffany Stratton was incredibly over with this crowd. Naomi controlled a lot of the match. The shotgun stomp from Tiffany Stratton on the apron to Naomi, I thought was very, very nice. Some of this was sloppy, but they were able to recover. Candice LeRae came out, which stopped Naomi from winning I was going to say at first, but in general, I guess it stopped Naomi from winning. Stratton was also able to hit the prettiest moonsault ever after sending Naomi to the outside of the ring. Who is going to be in that finals at Saturday night's main event? I don't know, because I really want Chelsea Green in it. I really want Mia Yim in it. I really want Bayley in it. Tiffany Stratton has the Money in the Bank briefcase, so to me it wouldn't really matter if she was in it or not. But I'm still really hoping that Mia Yim wins the championship, but then part of me is also really hoping that Chelsea Green wins the championship, and just for, I don't want to say nostalgia purposes, but I'd like to see Bayley win it as well. So who knows? We saw Bianca Belair pick up the victory over Piper Niven. Backstage earlier in the night, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven attacked her, and she was already not 100% because of WarGames. But the match, this match was really good. Chelsea Green cheated a few times. Bianca Belair shook her off, and Piper Niven was able to use that and take advantage to control a good chunk of that match. I liked the senton spot from Piper. I liked the selling from Bianca Belair with her ribs. She tried to hit the KOD at one point. She couldn't because of those ribs. Later on, though, Piper Niven was up on the second rope. Chelsea Green got involved. She knocked her down. She was able to have Piper stay on that rope. She then picks her up off the second rope for the KOD, hits it right onto Chelsea Green, and I thought that was a great way to end that match. I thought that was fantastic. After that, Shinsuke Nakamura came out, and before he could say anything, he was interrupted by LA Knight. And he said that he's not done with Shinsuke Nakamura. He got a cheap victory. He wants his rematch right then and there. And then he was interrupted by Andrade, and he said he's not done with Nakamura. And LA Knight said that when he's done with Nakamura, he can get a shot. And then the Bloodline attacked not Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight and Andrade. Nakamura poured the mist from his mouth so they didn't mess with him. Earlier in the night, we saw when the Bloodline arrived, they took out Apollo Crews, they took out a bunch of security. Solo Sikoa basically put everybody on notice and said that the Bloodline isn't weak. They're not done. And he's tired of people not seeing him as the tribal chief. And I think the one thing that I would have changed about this segment was still having Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga like stomping out Andrade and LA Knight while Solo spoke. And I thought what Solo said was very, very good. After that, we saw DIY pick up the victory over the Motor City Machine Guns to become the new tag team champions. The Street Profits were attacked backstage earlier in the night, and it opened up a slot, which Johnny Gargano swooped in. He took it, and Ciampa reminded Johnny Gargano about what he said last week about needing an answer. And Tommaso Ciampa was very serious in this whole segment. And the story told with Johnny Gargano struggling putting on a facade of struggling between wanting to wrestle his way versus Ciampa's way, I thought was very well done. Ciampa at one point nailed Johnny Gargano with a big boot by mistake. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, called Johnny Gargano stupid. And Ciampa got pissed off at Johnny for not taking advantage of Alex Shelley outside of the ring. They pushed one another. Johnny told him to go leave. So Ciampa went out, grabbed a chair, went to go back into the ring with the chair, distracted the referee. Johnny Gargano low blows Chris Sabin. Alex Shelley questioned it. He eats a super kick. They hit meet in the middle and won the tag team titles. And very, very surprising that they did 2 heel turns like that for teams in the same week. That other team obviously being New Day, but I believe I said this last week, so I'm happy with this. I thought the match was great. I thought the ending was great. Backstage after, you saw the Way all celebrate together with obviously Candice LeRae. Unfortunately, no Indy Hartwell. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next with those tag team championships. You had Kevin Owens interviewed. It was supposed to be a sit-down segment, but Kevin Owens made Michael Cole go to his car, because why should he go into the arena if he's been banned as of late? And Michael Cole said that he's always been a big supporter of Kevin Owens up until recently. And Kevin Owens spoke about how long Roman Reigns spent trying to end his career and how Cody Rhodes stood tall with him. And it was Cody that left WWE because he wasn't happy. And Michael Cole brought up how the Usos and Sami Zayn felt the same way as Cody Rhodes with helping Roman Reigns and how it was the right thing to do. And he called Kevin Owens petty. He said that he's the problem. So Kevin Owens made him leave. And honestly, when you put everything that Kevin Owens has been through, 1, 2, 3, 4, list it down the line, it's not Kevin Owens who's in the wrong. So even though obviously Kevin Owens could react differently, but he's not wrong to react the way he's reacting. In the main event, you saw Cody Rhodes pick up the victory over Chad Gable. Ivy Nile got involved to temporarily distract Cody Rhodes and give Chad Gable the upper hand. And he worked on Cody's leg. Perhaps Cody Rhodes is too stubborn to have a match like this before going up against Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event. It's a week away. And Chad Gable working on that leg of Cody. Cody had to do all his moves with one leg. So I thought that was a nice touch. All those springboard moves. We did see Julius Creed at one point pull Chad Gable out of the ring. And then the referee kicked American Made from ringside. Chad Gable took Cody Rhodes' boot off. Locked him in that ankle lock again. He got out of it. Hit a top rope Cody cutter. Went for a crossroads. Got locked in the ankle lock again. And then broke the ankle lock with the ropes. Chad Gable reversed the crossroads, which I did not expect that. He went for a moonsault only to get hit with the crossroads. I thought maybe Kevin Owens was going to be distracting Cody Rhodes, leading to that. Maybe Chad Gable picking up that victory. But Cody gets the victory. Kevin Owens shows up afterwards, starts stomping Cody's ankle. Cody fights back. Kevin Owens pounced. Officials break it up, but they continue to brawl, and that's how SmackDown ended. Very, very much so big hype for Saturday night's main event. And perhaps new additions to the SmackDown roster via this transfer window. So that was SmackDown. Going to take a quick little break right now, and I'll be right back here on Markin Out.
Hey, this is always ready Matt Cardona, the internet champion, and you're listening to Markin Out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Markin Out episode 722. Moving back to Collision first from last week. It kicked off with Will Ospreay picking up the victory over Juice Robinson to gain points in the Continental Classic. based on clips from Full Gear that I saw, I feel like there was absolutely no way that Juice Robinson should have lost this match based on how badly beaten Will Ospreay was. So that was unfortunate. Something else unfortunate, Juice Robinson is unfortunately out of the tournament due to injury, and he was replaced by Commander. After that, on Collision, you had Mystico and Private Party pick up the victory over the Maximum Male Models and John Morrison. This was the first match after Private Party won the titles. Private Party should be having normal tag team matches, not trios. I also would prefer them not to be in comedy matches. I don't know how this is their first match after winning those titles. I also don't understand how Mystico is treated as a comedy act, I guess, in AEW like that. Or part of. The whole thing, it made no sense. After that, you had Kyle Fletcher pick up the victory over Black Taurus to gain points at the Continental Classic. I enjoyed this match. I did not expect Black Taurus to win this. I thought the crucifix bomb off the top rope was really cool. But I just wish Black Taurus was in a different spot in AEW. Because it almost feels like he's only in this tournament to lose matches. And then on Rampage, he picked up a victory over Serpentico. It's just frustrating to see stuff like that because it's just an absolutely meaningless match. Just to get a victory for Black Taurus if he's going to lose all these matches in the Continental Classic, assuming he's going to lose these matches, not for me. You had the Outrunners pick up the victory over Iron Savages. This was another comedy match. More so than the Trios match. And I would have liked for this to have been less predictable. Obviously, the Outrunners are picking up that victory. FTR came out again afterwards just to do that handshake. Again? What are they doing? Are they going to finally lead up to FTR versus the Outrunners? What are they doing? What is FTR doing? You had Adam Page pick up the victory over Wheeler Yuta. This had some really good technical aspects to it. But once they went outside of the ring, I check out. Pac and Claudio showed up in the crowd. Mox and Marina Shafir showed up. Hangman wraps a chair around Wheeler Yuta's head after the match. Jay White showed up. Hangman left. Jay White hit the Blade Runner on Wheeler Yuta. And then Christopher Daniels told Hangman to let go of his thirst for revenge because he could be the leader of AEW. And then Hangman yelled at him and told him not to give him advice. You had Mina Shirakawa pick up the victory over Layla Gray. Layla Gray has 0 wins in AEW on television. So a 3-minute match here for me, I don't think does anything for anybody. It's embarrassing that on a 2-hour show you give this a 3-minute match. And not to jump again, on a 3-hour block of programming, all you have is 9 minutes of women's wrestling, and I think that's absolutely pathetic. You had Thunder Rosa grab a sign from the crowd on Rampage to put over the women's division. There's no women's wrestling on TV. It's so poorly booked, and the women deserve so much better than that. You had Daniel Garcia versus Okada in the main event go to a draw, so they both get a point. This was a very good match for Daniel Garcia. I wish he would have won, since he literally just came out of that super boring feud with Jack Perry. But at least he went to a time limit draw, and at least he got points, and at least it was against a big name like Okada. I popped for the end where Okada was going for the handshake and he flipped him off. I wasn't expecting that, but I really should have. That really made me laugh. But moving over to Rampage, airing that in reverse really screwed with me. But Thunder Rosa opened the show, like I said before. She picked up the victory over Harley Graham. This match, unlike the previous women's match, at least had setup for it. Both of them have TV victories. There was story put into it. The only thing that I didn't like was Harley unmasking herself during this, because I feel like it would have been more effective had Thunder Rosa been the first one to do it, because Harley put the mask back on. Thunder Rosa already saw who it was, not that she didn't know who it already was. And then Thunder Rosa did take it off, but I feel like the pop aspect of that is already gone. If Thunder Rosa does it herself, it's not like Hulk Hogan where he was Mr. America and we knew it. He's playing a trick on McMahon where he lifts up the mask and he tells the crowd like, oh, like wink, wink, you're in on it. It's not like that. It could have been where Thunder Rosa gets a huge pop for unmasking Harley. You had Atlantis Jr., Shibata, Mascara Dorada team up to fight Top Flight, pick up the victory there, obviously. But Excalibur tried to spin this, the reason for Shibata teaming with Atlantis Jr. and Mascara Dorada, as New Japan and CMLL have a Fantastica Mania tours, and Shibata never appeared on one of those shows. He teamed a few times with Grand Metalik when he was Mascara Dorada. He's never teamed with Atlantis Jr. And in fact, the last CMLL match that Shibata had was not only before Atlantis Jr. started wrestling, he was literally 4 years old. So to give that as reasoning as to why they were on the same team, I thought was just absolutely goofy. The match, I thought it was a well-worked match. But that commentary line was just awful. That took me out big time. Because that, I start going down to a rabbit hole because I'm like, there's no way Shibata has ever teamed with them. And then you look it up, he's never even been on the tour. But they have a great relationship because of this tour. Well, guess what? Never been on the tour. Atlantis Jr. was 4 years old. Goofy. And then in the main event, you had Hechicero pick up the victory over Commander. They didn't really even give us a reason why this was a Lucha Libre themed episode of Rampage. This was a very fun match, though. That step up knee in the corner from Hechicero right before the end of the match, I thought was really nice. And then he won with the guillotine head scissors leg drop. And I know, I mean, I don't know, but I feel like the rumors are out there that Rampage is being canceled. I wouldn't mind seeing more Lucha Libre on Rampage. We had on Dynamite, Kyle Fletcher pick up the victory over Shelton Benjamin to gain points in the Continental Classic. I popped at the crowd chanting Ospreay's better to Kyle Fletcher. But this match, a lot slower than I expected it to be. The fans were fully behind Shelton Benjamin. But I went into this thinking that Kyle Fletcher was going to win. And I think they were pretty close to a time limit draw. I don't think commentary mentioned it or anything. Like they had to have been like 2 minutes or so from a time limit draw. But Kyle Fletcher ends up using the ropes to pick up the victory. Kyle Fletcher didn't use the ropes to pick up the victory against Will Ospreay, if I'm not mistaken. So, did he really need to use the ropes and cheat? I don't think so. Backstage, MVP yelled at Shelton Benjamin. So, Shelton Benjamin pulled a Lance Archer, attacked a random employee walking backstage. Bobby Lashley joined in. The Hurt Business turned into Lance Archer. You had Adam Cole win the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. You had Top Flight, Evil Uno, Mark Davis. Couldn't think of his last name for a second. The Butcher, the Conglomeration, the Don Callis family. They were all in it. The dumbest spot of this match, Action Andretti, Leo Rush, very stupidly eliminated Darius and Dante Martin. You have the four-man advantage. The only team in that battle royal to have a four-man advantage, and you eliminate your team members? Dumb. Very, very dumb. And I think it was very obvious that it was going to come down to Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. It came down to them. It came down to the Don Callis family. Undisputed Era ended up dropping both of them off at the same time. So next week, we're going to see Adam Cole face Kyle O'Reilly. Not something we've seen in quite some time. And then the winner of that faces MJF for the ring. You had Swerve pick up the victory over Max Caster. Beforehand, Max tried to get Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn on the same page with him, and they were not feeling it. This match, I feel like it should have been over in like one move, but you had Swerve attack Max Caster beforehand, brawled with him outside the ring. Then the match began. It was unfortunate that it wasn't over in one move, and I feel like it could have been like a super humbling experience for Max Caster, but it was at least under 3 minutes. Swerve hit the house call 3 times, which I feel like is very unnecessary, but it's sending a message to Bobby Lashley. And after the match, he ended up hitting that the double stomp to really drill a message to Bobby Lashley. I assume it's not the lesson to Max Caster. I assume it's to Bobby Lashley based on what he said after the match. You had Jay White pick up the victory over Pac. I thought this was another Continental Classic match. I completely forgot neither of them are in it. But Wheeler Yuta got involved. They brawled outside the ring just like every other match. I don't think this match needed to happen on Dynamite. And I feel like it very much so could have been another women's match. I did like that brutalizer spot where Jay White fell onto the bottom rope to break the hold. But Wheeler Yuta got involved again. Jay White, almost I feel like out of nowhere, hits a Blade Runner to pick up that victory. So even though Wheeler Yuta got involved in the match, Jay was still able to overcome that and hit the Blade Runner, pick up the victory. Wheeler Yuta attacked Jay after the match, though, and got rocked with a Blade Runner. And then Marina Shafir got in the ring, which distracted Jay, only for Jon Moxley to jump in and attack him. Hangman came out, stared Jon Moxley down, and then somebody dressed as a cameraman choked Jon Moxley. Turned out to be Orange Cassidy. Hangman jumped in. Marina Shafir held Orange Cassidy back, but he was eventually able to get around that. Knocks out the Death Riders. Jay comes back, hits a Blade Runner on Jon Moxley, and then Hangman hit a buckshot lariat, which this was like, for everything that's been going on with these 4, with the addition, I guess, of the Death Riders, I still don't understand it, but this almost seems like an Avengers team up sort of thing. And I just don't understand it, but we'll see what happens with that. Earlier in the night, another video from Julia Hart aired. I believe it said she's got her eyes on Jamie Hayter. Now it's official. And Jamie Hayter responded later on and said that she's ready to fight anytime, any place. And then she said that she'll come to find Julia. And when she makes her return, she'll lay there knocked out on the mat, and the last thing that Julia will see is her. Why Julia's coming after Jamie Hayter, we still have absolutely no idea. On Rampage, Camille backstage was taken out. And on Dynamite, Renee asked Mercedes Moné about it, and she said she doesn't work for her anymore. It's not her concern. Her main focus is Anna Jay. She's going to watch Anna Jay's match. And on Dynamite, Anna Jay picked up the victory over Penelope Ford. You had a few weeks ago, Penelope Ford beat Robin Renegade so she could look like a threat for Jamie Hayter. And then she lost. Anna Jay beats Penelope Ford. They spin it as if she's been on this long winning streak. Yes, she has, but there's no meaningful victories there. There's nobody who's equivalent to Mercedes Moné that Anna Jay has picked up the victory against. Most of those people, I don't even think were signed or have matches or have victories on TV. But Anna Jay beats Penelope Ford to maybe look like a threat towards Mercedes Moné. That's AEW Booking 101. I absolutely hate it. And to make matters worse, they referred to this as one of AEW's most intense rivalries. And I really hate when they do stuff like that too. But this match, they had good back and forth. I don't think the Queen Slayer should have been reversed the way it was, but Penelope Ford had Anna Jay locked in that Moodle lock. It was broken by the rope break. Penelope Ford yelled at the referee, and that little distraction allowed Anna Jay to hit the gory bomb to pick up the victory. And then afterwards, she called Mercedes Moné out, and she questioned why Anna Jay thinks that she could beat her when Chris Statlander, the strongest in AEW, could not beat her. And she told Anna Jay to come back in 10 years when she's done something in the business. And Anna Jay was like, oh, you mean something like this? And slaps her in the face. Mercedes acted as if she was about to fight. And then left, and she said, on my time. And within seconds, it was announced for it to take place 2 weeks. Why couldn't we have Mercedes do a backstage segment or something like that to say, oh, the match will take place at this show? Why couldn't the match be taking place at a pay-per-view? World's End is coming up. She introduces it, and literally within seconds, oh, it's been confirmed that the match is taking place in 2 weeks. Why? Why is that necessary? Why not make it look like Mercedes has the actual power there? So goofy. And then in the main event, you had Claudio pick up the victory over Brody King to gain points in the Continental Classic. This match went to the outside, but unlike all the other matches, it actually made sense as to why they were outside. When it makes sense with why they're outside the ring, I don't mind it. When it's just brawling outside the ring for no reason, I lose interest. Although I would have preferred if they did it less in this match, and if they also didn't end this match with cheating, just like the opening contest. Is there nobody there seeing like, oh, Kyle Fletcher's gonna cheat, maybe not have Claudio cheat also, or vice versa? But as uninterested as I was at the start of this match, they drew me in. I enjoyed the overall main event there, and that was the end of Dynamite. So hey, Brandon, got any shout-outs?
Hi, this is Casey Kasem, and up next on the American Top 40, Brandon shout-outs.
The first shout-out goes to Based on a True Story. It's back for its second season on Peacock. It's Kaylee Cuoco, Chris Messina, Tom Bateman, Liana Liberato. They all return. Melissa Fumero and Sarah Paxton were added this season. But it picks up sometime after season 1, and there's more killings. And they have to decide if Tom's character is killing again or if it's someone else. It ends on a cliffhanger, so they absolutely better get a third season. I know USA Network has been airing, I think it's season 1 they've been airing.
Yeah, I've been seeing bits and pieces. It seems entertaining, interesting.
It's really good.
Yeah.
My next shout out goes to Dear Santa. Did you hear anything about this movie at all?
Is that the one with the Satan?
Yes, it is. You did hear about it.
With, yeah.
It's a new movie out on
Jack
Paramount
Black?
Plus. Yes, starring Jack Black. A kid with dyslexia accidentally mixed up the spelling of Santa when writing to Santa and ends up sending his list to Satan. Instead, it's a Farrelly Brothers film. So you have cameos from past, not character-wise, but actors. I mean, they've worked with Jack Black before as well. Post Malone portrays himself in this movie. The reviews are absolutely brutal for this. But literally right up my alley.
I can definitely see that.
Memorable as something like Shallow Hal, There's Something About Mary, or Dumb and Dumber?
Mm-hmm.
No. But I still thought it was very enjoyable.
That's all that matters then.
Yeah, and I mean, Jack Black I think is great, and I laughed. I laughed a lot during this movie. It's a crazy concept in general, so...
Yeah, Jack Black is always funny.
I would say check it out. My last shout-out goes to the movie Nutcrackers. I kind of feel like this was, I don't know, maybe it is perfectly named, but it's out now on Hulu. It stars Ben Stiller. Mm-hmm. His character's sister passes away, and he becomes the caregiver for his nephews. This movie also has bad reviews, but I also enjoyed it. It's more drama than comedy, but there are still those like heartwarming moments that you'd want from a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You have Linda Cardellini in it, Toby Huss, Edie Patterson's in it, Tim Heidecker's also in it, and I kind of wish the movie was longer. It's just over an hour and a half, but you'll see Ben Stiller's character transition from being like completely absent, wanting absolutely nothing to do with them, to being fully present for the kids. So I feel like if a movie can get from point A to point B like that and deliver, I think that's what makes a movie.
Yeah.
So I would say check that out. Like I said, it's on Hulu. But those are my shout-outs. Now it's time for...
Mark Out Moment of the Week.
That is right, our Mark Out Moment of the Week. I have a lot.
What do you got? I don't think I have anything this week, but outside of the Survivor Series, the things that took place during those matches, what is Mark Out for you?
Thanksgiving Eve, we saw Cody Rhodes on The Tonight Show.
Oh, yeah.
Which the stuff he says is truly absurd. In a good way, but like... And he landed a callback joke from that Jerry Seinfeld had been talking about earlier, so... with how long he's been married, so I thought that was pretty funny. But he was promoting Saturday night's main event taking place at the Coliseum. He was promoting Survivor Series. It's just always cool to see pro wrestling in a spotlight like that, especially since they showed a picture of Cody Rhodes, Goldust, and Dusty Rhodes together.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving over to WarGames itself on the kickoff show and online as well, 2 different times on that Saturday, we had William Regal do the classic WarGames. So I had to pop for that, obviously.
Of course.
WWE Vault uploaded CM Punk versus Amazing Red from a 2005 dark match, which really crazy to see the Amazing Red in that position there.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was really cool. I want more and more matches like that. As of
They're
late,
doing great with
WWE
what they're
Vault,
releasing.
But they upload like other stuff that I feel like shouldn't be there. Like they uploaded the Paul Heyman documentary, the CM Punk documentary. That's stuff that can go on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
But and I mean, I'm pretty sure it might even already be on Peacock. So I don't know. Maybe they're preparing for other things. I don't know. But I pop for that. And then TNA announced this week that Slammiversary will be taking place next July at the UBS Arena. Right here, Long Island, New York.
Oh, yeah. Huge mark. Oh, I have another Mark Out moment, too.
And I didn't think I was reading it right when I saw that announcement. But I think that's awesome, especially when people thought TNA would be dead 10 plus years ago. I will say that I'm annoyed that in their press release, they refer to it as New York City. It's not New York City. It's Long Island. But I'll let it slide. And then I assume your other Mark Out moment, also mine, New York City. Yeah?
Yeah.
Matt Cardona will be challenging Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor Championship at Final Battle.
Wow.
Taking place at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Hammerstein? I feel like goddamn Excalibur. The Hammerstein Ballroom. I can't believe I just said Hammerstein. That was gross.
The Hammerstein.
The Hammerstein Ballroom. And I think that's awesome for Matt. I don't know if it's going to lead to some sort of GCW invasion, involvement, or something. I don't know. But literally the only person that could get me to care about a Chris Jericho match right now is probably Matt Cardona.
I would agree with you with that. I think that this is going to be excellent. And it's so cool just that Matt's going to have this chance to wrestle Chris Jericho. Have they ever had a matchup before?
Yeah. Did he win?
I don't remember.
Part of me thinks Matt won.
I can't remember.
Not 100% sure though.
I don't know.
Did he beat Chris Jericho? I don't see it here. This is all Matt Cardona. Yeah, he did. Monday Night Raw. March 26, 2016. Zack Ryder picked up that one victory over Chris Jericho.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, no way I always remember that one.
I think AJ Styles was ringside for it. It was a super quick match. But yeah, so I assume Matt Cardona won't win that, but I really do hope that they do some sort of invasion with GCW there.
Yeah, would be interesting after
Especially
everything.
since with Ricky Starks getting pulled from GCW, the person that replaced Ricky Starks is Effie. So, and Effie said everything about Ricky Starks, and then now Matt Cardona is going to be there. I don't know if it all fits into place. I don't know. I don't know if it's HLS or what, hook, line, sinker.
Yeah.
We shall see, but that is Markin Out. Thank you so much for checking out Markin Out episode 722. You can follow us on Twitter at Markin Out, at BTTG161, at Chris Sweendog, at CMSweeney85, David PTDPT. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/MarkinOut. YouTube is YouTube and Instagram, MarkinOut11. ProWrestlingTees.com/MarkinOut. TikTok at Markin Out. Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, like I said, markinout.com. And we wish you
the best of luck in your future endeavors.